Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Navs Effect podcast. I'm your host, Naveen Ganglani, and this is not going to be the traditional UAP podcast we've been doing. We're going to do something like that tomorrow night, Monday night. I'm scheduled to have on Nico Rocha to discuss the happenings of Game 1 of the UAP Men's Basketball Finals that just took place at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. But for tonight, since it is kind of late and I just want to get an episode out there quickly because it was a monumental game, I am going to kind of look into how the UP Fighting Maroons defeated the Del Salle Green Archers in game one of the finals. A dominant, incredibly dominant defensive effort by UP in the second half to stifle DLSU and beat them in a way that no other team has really beaten them since game one of last year's finals when UP beat them. But yeah, very impressive stuff. A lot of things to unpack and a few notable standouts for UP worth mentioning, and a few disappointing performances by the Green Archers that I think we should bring to light to some degree. So, yes, can't wait to get into all of that. It's going to be a chill episode. But of course, first, we won't start without a quick word from our friends over at, I hope you guys joined the giveaway, Finn Cotton.
I want to say congratulations on all your success.
Congrats to Finn Cotton Sneaker.
Para sa lahat ng mga kababayan natin dyan, Disenyong Pinoy.
Disenyo ng Pinoy para sa Pinoy.
Dinisenyo ng Pinoy para sa Pinoy.
Dinisenyo ng Pinoy para sa Pinoy.
Disenyong Pinoy para sa mga Pinoy.
One of the best seller nila sa Fin Cotton, napaka-quality.
Napakasarap po sa paa. Halos parang natutulog lang yung mga hinlalaki ko sa paa. The best. Fin Cotton is the best policy. Nobody's perfect.
Thank you, of course, our friends over at Finn Cotton. And if you guys joined the giveaway that we had on Facebook, well, we'll be announcing the winner tomorrow. I'm sure someone definitely won the closest to the final score prediction. And congratulations in advance. Whoever won, again, we'll announce that Monday morning. You have won yourself a free pair of Finn Cotton sneakers. Okay, so DLSU leads at halftime, 41-37. And by the way, I have notes, I have things I could look at to really get into the specifics, but I want to do things first, top of my head, to kind of see what really stood out. Now, the final score was 73-65. In the second half, DLSU scored just a grand total of 24 points. That was 1 point more than what they scored in the second. Oh, sorry, I'm reading this wrong. Oh, wait. I think I'm reading it correctly. Yes, I'm reading it correctly. So that was just 1 point more than what they scored in the second quarter. DLSU did not score until the 3-minute, 15 seconds mark of the third period. And while that was happening in my mind, I was like, dang, UP's not taking advantage of this. LaSalle has gone scoreless for nearly 7 minutes, and UP's lead is only like 5. This is good for DLSU if they want to come back and win this game. And as it turns out, that was the momentum UP needed, because UP, once you let the Fighting Maroons take momentum and pace and energy of the game and drive it towards their favor with that crowd and that intensity, and they can start getting out on the breaks, it's going to be a long night. And it was a very long night for the Green Archers. What happened? Well, LaSalle was playing sloppy basketball. Let's look at the stats here real quickly. Yes, DLSU out-rebounded UP 48-37. But LaSalle had 18 turnovers to UP's 11. So UP did a better job taking care of the basketball. 18 DLSU turnovers that led to 16 points off turnovers for the Fighting Maroons. Let's look at the stats. DLSU shot 25 out of 72, 34.7% from the field, 6 out of 26 from downtown, 9 out of 11 from the free throw line. Fighting Maroons, 26 out of 66 from the field, 39.4%, 4 out of 21 from 3-point range. So once again, UP struggled to shoot from deep against LaSalle, but today that didn't matter much. In part because they were 22 out of 45 from 2-point range, 48.9%, 17 out of 23 from the foul stripe. So UP also had 12 more free throw attempts than DLSU did, which I think spoke to the aggressiveness of UP attacking the rim. And before anyone throws out the Luto and stupid accusations, it wasn't. UP got to the free throw line because they were aggressive, because they got DLSU in early penalty situations, and they were able to capitalize on it. QMB was the best player on the floor. He was 17 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, a plus 12, 7 of 11 from the field, 3 or 4 from the foul line. And his defense was absolutely incredible. It wasn't until DLSU was in danger of really losing the game halfway through the fourth quarter when we saw Mike Phillips be aggressive in attacking the paint. And Mike's final stats actually look good, better than I think what he played. He finished with 17 points, 8 of 14 from the field, 11 boards, 5 assists, but 4 turnovers. KQ had 6 turnovers. Mike and KQ, the top 2 players in the UAAP Season 87 MVP race, finished with a combined 10 out of DLSU's 18 turnovers. And that's two games now, great games out of QMB defensively, where he was able to limit Mike. KQ has been the only, I mean, sorry, QMB has been the only player this season I've seen that really has made Mike double think about attacking the rim. And a lot of times, that hesitation from Mike, because in DLSC's offensive scheme, whether it's Henry or Mike, the big man catches the ball outside the perimeter, right? The 3-point range of perimeter, and looks for cutters to get the ball to. A lot of times, because of QMB's defense and the double thinking of Mike and Henry, DLSU found itself in situations where there would be 10 or 11 seconds left on the shot clock. And instead of getting a good quality shot attempt, they would end up forcing contested jumpers, trying to make something out of nothing with like 2 or 3 seconds left. And that contributed to the 34.7% field goal shooting of DLSU that was not good. The shot quality DLSU was getting in this game was not good. I think that's to be fair. And you have to give UP's defense a lot of credit for that. They packed the perimeter, they packed driving lanes, they stayed in front of their guys, they used the length, the size, and they were able to control, the drive and kicks LaSalle likes to do, or the attacks at the paint, or the handoffs. LaSalle was running the stuff that they've been running all season, but UP was able to counter it with length, like I said, with size, and just with sheer will and ability to stay in front of their assignments. And you have to give them credit for that. I thought that Coach Golden Monteverde and his staff, they've been criticized before in games against DLSU. They were phenomenal in this game against the Green Archers. I think they outcoached DLSU's coaching staff today. And that hasn't been the case the last few games, but that was the case tonight. LaSalle didn't adjust or counter what UP was trying to do in time. And when they went on their late fourth quarter spurt, really, it was too big of a cushion for UP to let go of. And I kept mentioning this. The last 2 games of UP, last 3 games, so they beat FEU and then they beat UE and then they beat UST, and they beat those teams by closing those teams out in the fourth quarter. They got their reps on how to close out opponents in the final period. And again, it came in handy today. I think that experience, rather than blowing out opponents like they had been doing the last few seasons, came in really handy in this game as DLSU cut what was a 10-point lead to about 3 with minutes to go. You have to shout out Jerry Abadiano. 2 big shots, the mid-range pull-up and then the 3-point daggers that really ended the game and gave UP the win. KQ was incredible in the first half. He had 18 points in the first half, and he was hitting every type of shot you could think of. Drives, step backs, pull-ups, got to the free throw line. Jacob Baila, god dang, this rookie is impressive. Played some stellar defense on Kimbao. Now, it was a team effort. Part of the reason why it was hard for KQ to drive and do his thing was because QMB was there in the paint. The other UP help defenders, weak side and strong side, were ready to help. But Bela really being able to stay in front of KQ, use that length, and kind of just make it hard for him to be aggressive came in very handy. KQ finished with 5 out of 15 from the field and 6 turnovers. 19 points, 11 rebounds. Yes, but that wasn't an efficient game, especially when you consider the giveaways. And there were moments he looked frustrated. Sometimes because he didn't get the ball. There were moments because he was forced to make something out of nothing. A lot of those missed shots were because he had to take tough fadeaway step back jumpers with 2-3 seconds left, which happened so many times for DLSU because of the lack of execution. And Bela, what was so funny is that when Bela was first available to be recruited, so Ateneo, LaSalle, UP had interest. Ateneo bowed out rather quickly. UP and LaSalle were the two teams, and Bela's family has a lot of LaSalle roots. There was a moment there where they thought maybe they would end up in LaSalle because of the connection of the family to the LaSalle roots, but LaSalle did not show as much interest as UP did in recruiting him, and because of that, Jacob went with UP. And lo and behold, look at that. Game one of the finals. He's the X Factor. He was the X Factor of that game. The stats won't show it. I mean, when you look at the stats, if you're a casual, you'd think, really? That guy, Jacob Bela? I mean, 5 points, 1 of 3 shooting. Look at this. Plus 18. The highest plus minus in the entire game. That's not an accident. Plus 18 in 20 minutes is insane. 3 steals, got to the free throw line a few times, hustle plays, second chance scoring opportunities. And again, like I said, the impeccable defense on Kiambao. UP's got a good one. UP's got a star on the rise, and he is going to be around for a bit, and he's going to win UP a lot of games, and he helped them win game one of the finals. What a catch. Congrats to UP for getting him. JD Kagulangan, I thought, was stellar too. The 5 of 16 won't show it, but he was the best court general on the floor. He was controlling the offense, and there were so many times he could have forced the issue, but he decided not to. And why was that? Why, when it seemed like he could attack the rim, take a layup attempt, he would back it out and reset the offense? Because he was controlling the pace. He wanted the flow to favor what UP was doing, especially when you got someone like QMB out there, and it worked very well. So he deserves a lot of praise. Francis Lopez, this was probably the best game I've seen Francis Lopez play, considering his maturity on the court, considering the stakes of the game, it being a finals. 5 out of 11 from the field, 13 points, took 2 3-point attempts, didn't go in, but he was driving relentlessly to the rim. And that's what you want to see from Francis, because I don't think there's a better player in the UAAP when it comes to attacking the rim and driving in with that combination of size, length, athleticism, speed, and all that jazz. So kudos to Francis. 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 blocks, +6. That was the best game I've ever seen him play. It was mature. He played within himself. He didn't force the issue. He wasn't too individualistic. He stayed within the system. And even when he picked up some silly turnovers and silly fouls, he didn't let it affect his game. And that's a great sign of growth. So props to Francis. If he can do it one more time, good chance UP wins the championship. Again, QMB, like I mentioned, just absolutely stellar. Best player in the court. Gilas, get this guy. Trust me, get this guy. There were some possessions there. He was scoring on Mike in the post, on Henry, on KQ. Now, kudos to KQ. KQ made 2 incredible defensive plays against QMB in the fourth quarter for LaSalle to go on that late game run. But it was too little, too late. And throughout the contest, QMB was fantastic. John Vic Remulla called this guy the missing piece during the offseason before it was announced. I announced that he was going to UP, and it's proven to be right so far. It's proven to be right. I know a lot of casuals will got mad at me when I said first game of the season, no JD, second game, no QMB. I thought the no QMB game was particularly significant because in that game, you just saw Mike do whatever he wanted to. But this is why QMB is such a big game-changing factor, and it's materializing in the biggest stage of UAAP basketball. I thought Torculia's low-key was awesome too. 7 points, +8 in 14 and a half minutes. Hit that big 3-point shot in the second half, and he had some plays where he scored in the paint in the first half to prevent LaSalle from extending the lead too much. LaSalle had the chance to actually win this game in the first half, to be honest with you. They were up 6 at one point. KQ was on fire. UP was inconsistent with their offensive rhythm. And the game changed, in my opinion, when Voros Marasigan picked up the technical foul. I felt that it was unnecessary. He made a big defensive play, a block, stared down. I believe it was Jacob Bela, got a technical foul for it. And that was one of those moments when you're watching the game live at the arena, and you pinpoint that moment, and you're like, yeah, that's a momentum shifter right there, and it did change the UP side because UP could have actually taken the lead at the end of the first half if Ramiro didn't hit the 3-pointer. UP was starting to play better. And then you saw them play even better in the second half. They came out of the gates consistent, aggressive on defense. Like I said, limited LaSalle to a scoreless first 6.5 minutes. And here we are now. UP's up 1-0. Let's get to some questions here. Yes, Josh David had cramps. Nice moment between him and Kagulangon in the middle of the court. And Josh David just wasn't the aggressive Josh David we were seeing in past games against UP. Minus 16 in 23 minutes. That was the worst among all Green Archers. He did have 9 rebounds. He was rebounding the ball very well, but just 1 assist. That's not the top 10 MVP candidate Josh David we saw all season. I think Topex also made one mistake, and it will kill me to say this because I'm a big aficionado of Raven Gonzalez's game. But I thought inserting Raven Gonzalez to start the second half when he didn't play a single minute in the first half wasn't the best move. And you saw it right away, too. UP attacked him right away. They got the ball to Francis, and Francis just blew by him. Easy layup to start the second half. And then a few minutes later, Raven got fouled, missed both free throws. He only ended up playing 3.5 minutes. It was a tough performance. Again, like Raven's a great player, and I think he's going to be even better his next few years in college. But this wasn't a good matchup for him, and to be inserted cold in the second half after he didn't play the first half, I thought was a move that backfired for LaSalle. I thought some of LaSalle's substitution patterns weren't that good as well. You could see that Topex tried to gamble a bit he had that moment where he sat KQ and Mike midway through the third period. And then DLSU actually survived that stretch. And then KQ and Mike came back, but the offense was just too cold. And you saw him continuously subbing people in and out. Makalalag in, out. Ramiro in, out. Marasigan, Goliena, who played really good. It was like he was trying to find the correct lineup to really work for this game to counter the defense UP was doing. But UP's defense just came in prepared for everything LaSalle was doing all season, had the counter to everything. And that's why, again, ultimately, that was really what stifled LaSalle's offense, was that there were so many times, the first time all season I saw this, where you look at the shot clock, you're like, wow, 10 seconds left, and nothing has happened with the offense yet. The pressure to bring up the floor, to bring the ball up the floor, Kagulangan pressuring, Abadiano pressuring, suddenly 15 seconds left, they're trying to run their set, they can't. And it ended up being a lot of contested, inefficient tough shots, and UP feasted on those opportunities. UP made LaSalle play their brand of basketball. And it was the first time they did that since game 1 of the finals last season. And that's why they were victorious. It wasn't really dominant performance from UP, honestly. It was the defense in the second half was the best defense I've probably seen them play all season long, especially considering opponent value. Makalalag also scoreless, 0-4 from the field. These were the guys who were really helping LaSalle out in the past games against UP. Marasigan, David, Makalalag, and they were struggling. Now, Goliena stepped up 11 points, 4 out of 6 from the field, 4 rebounds, plus 4 in each 21 minutes. He was phenomenal in the first quarter, but LaSalle needed more. Austria, 7 points and 8 shots, minus 10. And Ramiro, 5 points, 2 of 9 shooting. So KQ didn't have a great game. Mike had a decent game, although there were moments there that he could have been a little more aggressive. But then everyone else also struggled. And UP might not have shot the ball so well, but because QMB was really good, Lopez was pretty decent, pretty good actually, and Kagulangan was decent enough. They had enough, including the contributions from Terculas, Bela. They had enough. They won this game on the defensive end. There's a saying, defense wins championships. And that was the case today. Defense won UP this game and got them within one game of winning a championship. Let's get to some comments here. Adrian says there should be at least one of KQ Mike on the floor the whole 40 minutes. In this matchup, I tend to agree. Josh David, not his usual game. Hope he bounces back in game 2. I think Josh will look to bounce back in game 2, considering it might be his final UAP game. Akio asks, do you think putting Bela to guard KQ was a pre-game plan, or was it just a reaction to Rayland, Harold, and Aldis getting into foul trouble? So Bela said after the game that the night before the game, so Saturday night, Coach Golden went up to him and said, be ready. I'm going to trust you. And he was ready. So you have to give him props for that. Also, Harold picked up his, I think, third foul quickly to start the third quarter. He was subbed out right away. And kudos to Coach Golden for this. Because Coach Gold has been criticized in the past for quote unquote trusting his NU bullpups, even to the detriment of the team. Well, in this situation, he took Harold out and put Bela in. He took out a fourth-year veteran he's been with since high school, maybe even grade school, for a rookie who just arrived a few months ago. And it was the right move. So if you're going to criticize Golden Monteverde for times when his plan doesn't work against LaSalle, you better applaud him for the times when he makes the right choices. And he made the right choices in this game. That UP coaching staff, you have to give them their flowers. They were great for this game. And it's up to the LaSalle staff now to counter in game 2. So game 2, I know a lot of people are already saying, well, this was the same situation as last season. LaSalle was down 0-1. Looked like it was over after the blowout, and then they came back and won the game. I think this is a... I'm not going to say this is a better UP team than last season's team was, because last season's team was pretty good. But I think UP's lineup this year has the best player when you consider the lineup of last year's team, this year's team, which is QMB. Quentin Milora Brown is a pro's pro in the college game. He knows how to seal these defenders. He knows how to score in the post. He knows how to play defense. He knows how to create multiple possessions. Does that mean I'm saying UP is going to win game 2 and end the series? No, not necessarily. But I do think LaSalle these next 2 days, because it's a quick turnaround. Wednesday is 3 days from now. And usually in quick turnarounds, it favors the team that has the rhythm. And UP has the rhythm right now. I was mentioning it in a few podcast episodes that once UP gets that monkey off their back of finally getting to beat DLSU, you're going to see them play free and loose and relax. And now the pressure is on LaSalle. LaSalle has had a nearly flawless elimination round. And here they are suddenly 1 game away from all of it ending. Not ending, but the season ending, if you get what I'm saying. And I don't think KQ's coming back next season too. So I expect him to go all out. I think this is going to go 3 games, but we'll see. I think the UP we saw today, they proved that if they can get that 5 to 7 minute stretch where their defense is playing at such an elite level and they shut down everything the opponents do, and they're able to build a cushion, it's just so difficult to rally past them and get back on top. But we'll see. I think game 2 is going to be explosive. It's going to be at Mo Arena. And by the way, today was the first time that LaSalle lost at Araneta in the last 2 seasons. UP ended at Araneta Curse in the finals. And Mo was a place they're comfortable winning in as well. But we'll see. I think LaSalle will be ready. I think UP will be ready. I think it will be a game that once again is determined by the final few minutes. And best of luck to both teams. It's going to be absolutely electric. I hope we do get a game 3 because I think both squads are just great basketball teams. And I think that I would love to see a game 3, selfishly, just because I don't want the UAP season to end that quickly. I think 1 more game would be awesome. But we'll see. We'll see. Frances, same situation, different story. Absolutely, different story. I'm pretty confident that UP is well aware of what happened the last 2 seasons. And this time, they're going to try to make sure that such a collapse doesn't happen again. For DLSU, they have to be aggressive from the get-go. They have to be able to build an early lead and maintain that somehow. And try to find a way to force this to a game 3. Their backs are against the wall. Last season, they played their best basketball with their backs against the wall. Will they respond in similar fashion again this year? We shall find out. Okay, that's it for now. More to come tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless, stay safe, and peace out, everybody.